So welcome everyone to the Co-Creators Convergence Creator Convos, which we hold every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. My name is Noelle Marshall, and I'm here with my beloved Bob Warner, and also another co-creator that helps put this all together, Karen Trujillo Heffernan in New Mexico. And I feel tonight is going to be so very special. We are going to be introduced to a wondrous man who's had experiences, particularly with his connection with the Immaculate Mother Mary. And we'll hear more about that shortly. What I want to do right now is to give you just a little brief intro to what the Co-Creators Convergence is. So hold on to your hat. This kind of goes fast. It's just a 1-minute video. And let's see what we can learn here about the Co-Creators Convergence. And I want to say thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much, Noelle, and it's a pleasure to be here. Why don't we start with a centering prayer and then go into the introduction? A moment to fall down into our heart and to sense the gratitude and joy that are always hidden in our hearts and sometimes not so hidden. And let's just take a moment to be grateful for our breath, for our bodies, for the gift of this day, for the gift of being on this planet at this very precious, wonderful time of unfolding of conscious evolution. Let's just say a prayer of thanks. Thank you, God. Thank you for the gift of life, for the gift of being here today, for the gift of my body, for the gift of my heart's eagerness to love, for my heart's eagerness to receive love, for the gift of my beautiful body, my beautiful mind, and my beautiful soul, and my beautiful heart. And so it is. I'm just so excited to be and so privileged to be co-creating this show with you guys. And I just thank you so much for including me and for the privilege of this. And I really feel like Sebastian Blaksley is appropriate for this podcast because he's continuing to bring the message of Barbara Marx Hubbard into the world just by shining a light on the role each one of us is called to play in conscious evolution. So I'm sure Barbara Marx Hubbard must be on the other side, just smiling in the joy of this gathering together that is really continuing her legacy. Just to say a little bit about our wonderful guest tonight. He was born in 1969. And Sebastian Blaksley is a native of Buenos Aires, Argentina, born into a large traditional Catholic family. At the age of 6, Sebastian was involved in a near-fatal accident during which he heard a voice, which later identified itself as Jesus. And ever since then, he has continued to hear that voice. Sebastian says, since I can remember, I have felt the call of Jesus and Mary to live abandoned to their will, so that despite my various activities, I always put spiritual and religious reality at the center. I am a devoted Catholic, devoted to my Catholic faith. In 2013, he began to record messages from his mystical experiences, and in 2016, he miraculously discovered A Course of Love and felt the call to devote himself to share his direct relationship with Christ. Now he receives, transcribes, and shares what the voice of Christ, the voice of love, continues to dictate. And most recently, he has received Choose Only Love, a series of 7 books, the first of which was published in October of 2019. After receiving it, he started to receive From the Heart of Mary, and after that, From the Heart of Jesus, and both are in the process of being published. Sebastian is president of the nonprofit called Living Love Foundation. And just on a personal note, I just really feel like the timing of this particular broadcast and the timing of the publication of Choose Only Love is just absolutely divine timing. In fact, I ended up drawing an oracle card from the Archangel Gabriel deck right before the phone call. And the card I got is trust the divine plan, bless it, and bless the divine order inherent in every person and every situation. I really feel like we're at a day and age when so many people are a little bit stuck in the mud of complaining about the world, of saying, I want things to be this way, not that way, of just experiencing some resistance. And I just feel like A Course of Love and also Choose Only Love, in particular, bring an invitation to celebrate life and an invitation to just release all of the lower vibrations. And for me, the books from Choose Only Love that I've been reading have been like a tuning fork. And so I'll elevate my vibration. And I just feel like that's really what the world needs at this time. The world is really ripe for releasing the resistance. And we're also releasing the old paradigms in this day and age. We're releasing the old templates. And it's so important to replace the old templates with some new templates. And I really feel like Choose Only Love provides us with new templates for that. So I'm going to just mute myself and listen. I'm just so grateful that you showed up for the show, Sebastian, and I look forward to listening to what you have to offer.
Thank you very much, Elliott, and everyone. Thank you, Noel. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Bob. And also thank you, my very close and lovely friends, Reverend Rita, Paula, and Peter, for being here and for giving me the opportunity to share what is given to all of us from heaven. As Elliott said before, I live my life consecrated to Christ, and God is the center of my life because I know He is everything for me, and I have a strong relationship with Him since I have memories. And I was growing in my relationship with Him through all of my life until there was a moment in which my privacy and my intimacy with God was moved into a new step. And that moment was in 2013, in which I listened for the first time Jesus Christ saying to me through His Holy Spirit, "You are going to write for me. you are going to be a pencil in the hands of God, because that is why I put you in this world. You will be a pencil in the hands of love. And after that moment, I started to receive what is collected into words and then published. At that moment, I didn't know what to do with that, but I was open just to do what that voice said to me. And I was writing and doing nothing with that except for keep writing and keeping those words until the right time came to me, in which the writings started to be published. That moment was the moment in which our Immaculate Mother Mary said to me that the time had come in order to share my direct relationship with God. So I was moved into an intimate and personal relationship with God, into a new step in which I am called and moved to share with everyone who wants to listen the beauty of the direct relationship with God. And that is part of a new consciousness, because Jesus Christ said to me that we are now in a new time. We are in a new consciousness, and this new consciousness is based on the direct relationship with God. He told me that all the confusion that there is in the world is part of this plan, because through that confusion, we are more able and more willing to establish our direct relationship with God as it was in the beginning of the beginning. That was what he told me at that moment. So I'm really grateful to be here, and I really say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because what you are giving to me and to everyone through this session is the opportunity to open a little and a small window through which others can see the beauty of the direct relationship with God, because it is a relationship of pure love, a relationship in which we understand how holy we are and how much He loves us. And I would like to share with everyone that from the first time that I received the voice of Jesus, which was when I was at the age of 4 years old, and I was listening to him every day of my life until now, I always received from him full acceptance of unconditional love. I never, in 50 years that I'm listening to him, I never felt or listened to him giving me any judgment of anything. He just loves us, and he just wants us to know a love that has no beginning or end. And our Immaculate Mother Mary is in charge of that. That's why we are in the time of Mary, which is the time of feminine in this moment of the history, because we are ready to receive the tenderness of the divine love. And that tenderness and that sweetness from the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary is what we are invited to receive. So one of the key messages that I would like to share with you is that our Immaculate Mother Mary is calling us to let ourselves be loved. And that was a message that transformed my life completely. Because when I listened that for the first time, I didn't understand very well what was the meaning of letting myself be loved, because I was walking through a spiritual path in which I was focused on loving others, on trying to do things in order to love others and to show love. And I was very focused on doing and giving love instead of receiving. And I started to realize how difficult it is for us to be open to receive love, to open our heart just to receive for the simple reason of being loved. And that is what our Immaculate Mother Mary wants from us. She wants us to open our heart, to let ourselves be loved by her, so we can fill our heart of love, because we cannot love others if we are not loved before. And she wants to show that. She wants to show how much love there is in our heart, so that love can be extended to others. So at that moment, I understood that I wasn't created to love. I was created just to be loved, to receive the wonders of life, and to receive everything for free. Because I was created for free, for the simple reason of being loved. So when I understood that, my life changed completely, because I started to be more open to receive and to receive and to receive, without judging anything and without thinking that I have to return anything, because I know that I cannot return anything to God, because everything belongs to Him. So I invite everyone to think about that and to put your heart in order to let yourself be loved, instead of being focused on how I can love more or be a better person, because that's not the purpose of our existence. Jesus Christ was very clear to me when he said that I was created to share his infinite divine joy. That's the only reason. And that's the will of God, and that's what we can do every day. So I would like to thank Elliott for that comment in which he said that this is a call to celebrate the life. This is a celebration of love, because life is always a celebration. And this is the invitation that our Immaculate Mother Mary is doing to us, to celebrate how beautiful you are, because you are her daughter and his sons. So to return to the truth of who we are is what we are talking here. So if you allow me, I would like to share with you some very short chapter of Choose Only Love that can, I think, reflect something that I'm talking right now, if it's okay for you.
Absolutely, that will be quite a gift. I'm ready to receive, Sebastian.
Thank you for that. It's so important to receive, because our Immaculate Mother Mary said once to me, "You do not belong to the world. You belong to me, because I'm your mother." And after that, I asked her, how should I live my life based on that revelation and based on her will? And she said, I want you to live your life as a child in the arms of a mother, as a baby in the arms of a mother. And that is very important, because if we think about the symbol of a baby in the arms of a mother, the baby is just receiving. The baby is not focused on giving anything, because he or she cannot give anything except for his or her existence. And the mother is happy just because the baby is with her, is in her arms. So we are not called to do anything except for resting in the arms of our Divine Mother. And she is going to take care of us. And that is an attitude that we have in our life. So thank you for being open to be loved and for being a child, a baby in the arms of a mother. I thank you very much. And I will share with you one chapter which is from book number 2 of Choose Only Love. And the chapter number 5 is called Come, Be My Light. And I think that reflects a little bit what we are talking. If you want me to share screen, I can do that. I don't know if I can do that.
Yes, I will make you a co-host.
If you want.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go here to participants. And I should have made you a co-host earlier, so shame on me. Moi. No shame. We're all about love here. Love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There you go.
Okay.
So, thank you. So, channels of the light, sons and daughters of the reunion of heaven, souls who by your own will join with the will of God, have returned to the Father's house. You who welcome these words with love, this is the revelation being given to you now. You have been chosen to be channels of light. Each of you is called to spread love in your own way. We call you to constitute a countless number of channels of light that will open the floodgates of your hearts and let flow the light of truth and divine love. You will live as living reflection of the light of Christ. You will be love flowing from heaven to earth. You will be fireflies of love, stars of the new creation. You who receive these words, know that you are ready as channels of light, which in these final times is as it was 2000 years ago for the apostles. You do not proselytize or seek to convince anyone of anything. You look for nothing. Why look for what has already been found? What will never be lost again? As channel of light, you are the living expression of love. This is what you are invited to be from now on. You are the souls that have passed through holy love. By letting yourself be traversed by Him, you have been made one with Him. By becoming one with Him, you are no longer of the world, but have been reborn in the Spirit of God. You are the anointed ones. You are those who from all eternity were chosen in the design to continue the work of creation, that is, the endless extension of love. You are those brought into the world to bring the living Christ to earth. You are the channels of the second coming of Christ, through whom rivers of grace will flow. You are torrents of love, blessed clouds that will bring a deluge of blessings, flooding the earth with love and truth. You are the true worshippers of the Father, for you worship him in spirit and truth. You are those whom the Father of light says, "Come, be my light." Blessed souls, you who are called to be part of the countless channels of light, join us, the angels of God. Join with heaven. Join the love of Mary Immaculate. Join the living Christ who lives in you. Extend love to the world so that the Son of God returns to find not only faith on earth, but love, beauty, and holiness. You are called to be channels of light, the one who prepared the earth for the Immaculate Heart of Mary. You will plant white lilies, roses, and daisies in the eternal spouse of souls will come to dwell among humans. Beloved of Christ, accept this invitation to be a channel of light. This is the invitation you have been waiting for since you came into the world, created for you as the personification of the purity and holiness of God. Beloved, blessed souls, hear with perfect clarity. Being that for which you have been created is how to live in perfect happiness. Being a channel of light is your grace, your destiny, and your glory. Although you already know this, still you wonder what is your specific function. In this call lies your vocation, because extending love is both the reason for your life and the fullness of your being. Listen well, beloved of God, as we repeat what your Heavenly Father tells you from the immeasurable immensity of the created universe. Come, my child, be my light now and always. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Oh, beautiful. I think I want to take a breath. Just feel that beautiful message. Thank you. That was a meditation in itself. You speak so beautifully. And I do want to let everyone know that if it's okay with Sebastian, can people interact? Do you want to have any questions or comments from folks?
Yeah, absolutely. I love to receive any question or any sharing. And I think it's very important that everyone knows that angels love to receive questions from our heart, and they love to answer those questions, and they whisper in my ears.
Wonderful. If anyone wants to jump in here, you can put a question in the chat, or you can just wave at me and I'll unmute you, or just unmute yourself. I can't tell, Peter, whether you're raising your hand or you're petting the parakeet. We have an animal lover there. Well, I do have a question about the books. You said there's a series of 7 books. And what I'd like to know, you read to us from book 2, correct?
Yes.
Was that? Each book is called Choose Love, and then it has a little tagline underneath. What is the difference between all the, is it a developing story? Just tell us a little bit about how the books evolved and how the messages, what kind of message would I find in, I know they're all going to be about love. Now, don't get me wrong. But give us a little bit more about, how they came about. Now you have 7 books in just a couple years. Is that? Go ahead.
I will talk about Choose Only Love, which is the second receiving that I received, but it's the first published. The first one is called My Dialogue with Jesus and Mary, A Return to Love, but it's going to be published after Choose Only Love. I started to receive Choose Only Love in October 2019. I'm sorry, 18. So the way it came to me was I was praying alone in my house, and suddenly a presence came to me, and full of love and peace and beauty, and that presence introduced himself as I am the medicine of God. And my soul knew perfectly well at that moment that that was Archangel Raphael. He gave me a prayer to pray during 9 days, a novena, and the intention of that prayer. And I did what I was asked to be done. And I was praying during 9 days. And after finishing that on October 13, I started to receive the visitation of a quote of angels that comes to me singing a song of gratitude to the divine mercy for the holiness of the whole creation. And I can hear to that voice and to that song and to the music of the angels coming to me and singing that song of gratitude. And within that song, there is the voice of Christ that comes to me and is given to me through symbols and music, symbols that come from heaven and cannot be understood in human words. And after that, my soul is moved into the union of that celestial music. And then the Court of Angels give me the messages, and they leave. And Archangel Raphael comes to me, and he is in charge of translating those symbols into human words. And those words are what I write. And then I record, because he asked me to do both, write it in Spanish and in English, and then recording it in Spanish. And those are the words that are part of Choose Only Love. And in 8 months, I was receiving the 7 books that are the whole series of Choose Only Love. Each book has a subtitle or one specific theme. Like the second book that I read before is called Let Yourself Be Loved. And the first one is called Echoes of Holiness, and so on. And it is a spiritual path that comes from an encounter with Christ, and it allows us to grow in our direct relationship through the different books. And the last book is called The Way of Being. So it's a spiritual move, in a spiritual path, that allows us to go until the moment in which we are ready to be the Christ that we truly are. It's a spiritual path that helps us through each of these 7 books, which are 7 steps in our spiritual growth, in our spiritual development, or in our spiritual awakeness. 7 steps to be ready to express ourselves as the holiness that we are. because the key message of Choose Only Love is that we are Christ, and we are ready to live as the Christ that we really are. And we need those 7 votes in order to achieve the stage in which we are ready to live as we truly are with our true identity. So it's a spiritual path to acknowledge and to accept the human and divine nature that we have together. So we are the human God. That is what is said in Choose Only Love. So it finished when we are ready to be who we truly are.
Sebastian, it's Elliott. And I wanted to ask you to please say the subtitle of the last book again. I missed that.
The last one, the number 7, you mean, is the path, the way of being. The way of being.
Thank you.
The way of being.
Also, I wanted to just say how the words near the start of book 2 of your reading, there was something in there about giving and receiving or expressing in our own way. And that's always been so important to me, the uniqueness, the 1 billion different spiritualities and religions on the planet, the 1 billion in our own way snowflakes, the uniqueness of each soul. For me, sometimes in my own way is loving Kuan Yin and Jesus and affirming both in the same breath. If there's anything you want to say about uniqueness, I'm all ears.
And I really thank you very much, Elliott, because this is so important and it's so essential to what this Choose Only Love is bringing to us and everything that I'm receiving. The key message here is that we are ready to live the universal love within our uniqueness. We are who we are because of a reason. Our uniqueness, our true identity, our humanity as it is sacred. We are not called to be clones or anything like that. We are not called to repeat what others believe or to live under the rules of others. We are called to follow the authority of our heart because God lives in our heart and the voice of Christ is in every single heart in the creation, not only in human beings, but also in every single aspect of this creation. So that voice is talking to us every single moment, and God wants us to be who we are, not to be different of what we are. So that's why at the beginning of this encounter, I talked about the acceptance, how Jesus gave me the gift of having the experiences of being fully accepted as I am. I was never asked to be changed of anything in my heart or in what I am. So it's all about accepting who we are and to love who we are here and now with our humanity and with our uniqueness. Because love is infinite, God is infinite, and we are one expression of that infinite love and truth. And Jesus was very clear to me about that. And he said, if you are not who you are, there is something that will be missing in the universe. If you are not who you are, there is something missing in heaven. And that something missing is you. So we are called to be who we are and to accept our uniqueness and to enjoy who we are. But we need a process because we are accustomed to act as others set us how it is supposed to be act. And we need to move into that state in which we love ourselves as much as we can in order to start expressing ourselves as we are without pretending that we have to be different. That's why it's so important to be loved, because when we are open to be loved, we changed our attitude of trying to be accepted by others. Because most of the time when we say we try to love others, what we are doing is not extending love with that. We are just trying to be accepted by others. And we need to be accepted by others when we are not accepted by ourselves. And we are not accepted by ourselves when we do not have the experience of being fully accepted. That's why it's so important to be open to the direct relationship with God, because in that relationship, we will feel and know perfectly well how we are accepted and how sacred and beautiful is our uniqueness. So thank you, Elliott, for bringing this so important topic, which is about our uniqueness. And finally, to conclude this answer, I would say that Archangel Raphael said to me that creation is like a choir. That's why the choir of angels comes to me, because they represent the whole creation. And in a choir, there are many voices, and we need all the voices with their particular aspect in order to have the whole. Um, and that's what we are. We are part of that world of the creation, and we need to be who we are. Otherwise, the core will not be as beautiful as it has to be.
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you. And yes, the chorus of people and angels requires everyone. I appreciate that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Elliott, for jumping in there, and feel free to continue if you like. I have a message here from Peter. He says, it's just a blessing to be here, just a total blessing. And I can say it's just your countenance, you're like a glow, you know, and so much peace that I feel just, you know, just being in your presence, even though it's electronically, digitally, but feel that very strongly. Karen, do you want to jump in here?
Yes, so thank you all so much. So I want to reflect a little, and I'm just very interested on your feedback, Sebastian. I'm so grateful for this work, and then because these messages are so important. And I was born into a Catholic family, 6 children. My parents, 89 and 90, both still attending Catholic Church. And while they don't understand my ways or the ways of my siblings, they do see the core of love and spirituality and sort of essence of Jesus and Mary in us. Although my mom will still say she doesn't understand why we don't attend the Catholic Church. And I know that as a young child, I spoke many truths into the teachers. I went to Catholic school my whole life, but got in a lot of trouble. And what I was speaking was the truth of who I am and my communication with Jesus and Mary and others. And so my story was, I just went more silent, and then I did look outward for approval and permission, outside authority, and carried that with me for a lot of years, which is also beautiful because it's gave me the backdrop of, what I'm so passionate about, which is my business. I'm a family coach working with families called Surf in Your Soul, which means exactly what you said, just in different words. Surf in your soul is each of us to live our soul, our light, our passion, who we're meant to be on this earth. So I guess I'm curious, you know, where this fits, because I still have a lot of other people around me too, family members that are Christian, and they're very passionate, it's very important to them that it's this way or not the highway, heaven, the hell way. It's this way or the hell way. And you know, these are family members, and I am at a place of just love, and you know, I offer love. Yet I still will question it sometimes when I want to sort of ponder that. You know, everybody does have their own walk, but just with you and your Catholic, you know, background and how your voice has come out, maybe a little reflection on how that was for you with these messages.
Thank you, Karen, for that question. That's a very important question for me, because I raised Catholic and I love the spirituality that I received. And I was very committed, and I'm still very committed to my faith. And I was educated in a Jesuit school. In fact, the priest Jorge Bergoglio, who is the current Pope, was the director of the institution in which I studied, and I know him, and my father also knows him because he worked for him for a while. I say this because, yes, I received a very strong Catholic education. But Jesus is always guiding me through everything that he gives me. And when I was 15 years old, I wanted to be priest. Actually, I wanted to be monk. You know, a silent monk. And at that moment, my parents didn't allow me to do that. And I understood that was the message from Jesus for me, because I wanted to respect my parents because of my faith to Christ. And after saying no, because of that, I received the voice of Christ saying to me that he didn't want me to go there to be a monk, because he wanted me to be in the world, but without being of the world. And that was a very difficult path for me for a while, how to be in the world without being of the world. And I did my best. I cannot say that everything was easy, but I did my best to walk through that spiritual path. And I was always very united to Christ, and I found that to be in the world without being of the world can be difficult, especially in certain environments and moments in our life. Even though I come from a Catholic family, my family is not very spiritual. So they are just based on rules and not too much. Everyone in Argentina is almost everyone is Catholic because of the culture here. So when I started receiving the books that I'm receiving, I didn't know what I should do with that. I knew that there was a mission, but I didn't know which is going to be the mission. And when the time was going, I saw that maybe this is not going to be for one specific religion. So I shared this manifestation with some priests that I knew, where they were my directors, my spiritual directors. They loved that. They never said something like not, or this is against the Catholic rules or something like that. But they didn't do anything, to with that manifestation, except for one case in which one priest said that he wanted to help me if I feel that I need his help. So I went to the church and I pray to Jesus and Mary to find guidance about that. And he said to me very clearly, you will not be prophet in your land. And I understood when he said that this manifestation is not for one specific religion or one specific institution. This is for the universal love, and it is beyond religions. And he explained me very well at that moment, and that was a very transforming moment for me when he explained me the difference between religious and spirituality. So religious is, a set of rules and manifestations that are welcome because we can use them to express our love to God and to walk into the union with Christ, but they are instruments. Spirituality is all about rejoicing and rejoining our spirit with God. And that is beyond all religious. And he was absolutely clear with this. And I would like to say that in this moment. He said to me that humanity is ready to live the direct relationship with God as never before, as it was before the beginning of times. And he gave me a very clear explanation about his dialogue with the Samaritan woman, which is in the gospel, in which the Samaritan woman asks him whether she has to pray God in the temple of Jerusalem or in the mountain of Gerizim. And that was a very important question at that moment, because the discussion was, where was God? And for Jewish people at that time, God was just in one place, and that was in the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. And for them, there were no other place in which you can go to pray God, because God was just there. And Jesus said to her, not there and not in the other place. The time has come in which my brothers will establish a direct relationship with God, because God is truth and God is a spirit. So we are ready now to establish a relationship with God based on spirit and truth. And that means that dialogue was not something about theology. It was a prophecy. I didn't know that before, but the revelation of Jesus to me was that dialogue was a prophecy in which he was talking about a moment in our history, a moment in which humanity will no longer keep going with religions as it is known, and they will go and move to the direct relationship with God. And this is the time that we are living now. We are living in a time of the direct relationship with God, and we are called to go beyond structures to the love that has no structure. So to go beyond the structures of religions into the love that we are. We can use our religions in order to love more, and that is very welcome. But if our religion doesn't allow us to love more and in a more perfect way, we should escape away from there. I hope I answered your question.
I think you did. You answered it for me. I was also brought up, well, 8 years of Catholic school. I learned a lot of rules. I didn't find God.
And they were needed maybe at that time. But, you know, Virgin Mary, Immaculate Mother Mary said to me, your religion must be love. And I understood that, and that's my religion. I use the Catholic religion to express love, and it helps me to love. But everything from what I receive from the Catholic religion or from any other religion that doesn't allow me to love more, I just reject it. I just reject it because we know what love is. And no matter whether this religion or that religion says something against love, I had the right to reject it.
Absolutely. Elliott, did you want to jump in here? I see you're unmuted.
Thank you. I'm just enjoying the inspiration, the connection with the divine. That's my experience so often when these dialogues are happening. I just wanted to echo what you said, Sebastian, a moment ago. I have in my notes something about how we are ready to live the direct relationship with God like never before. I just so welcome that new era, and I just wanted to highlight those words. And then the other thing I just thought I would just bring up to the table parenthetically is that as the hour was approaching, I was reflecting on Barbara Marx Hubbard, and something came to mind that I hadn't thought of for a long time. There was a time when I heard her say something about how she was carrying wine and wafers with her in a bag. I don't remember the context. All I remember is that what was apparent from that is that she was having a portable, communion experience with somebody else. She didn't have to be at the church for that. And so what I'm noticing now as I listen to all of this is that, yes, she definitely treasured the trappings, the tools that religion brings to the table. And at the same time, of course, her religion was also love. She was so interspiritual and so welcoming of every trapping and every tool. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation as a little extra.
That's excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Elliott. And Bob and I, as you know, are longtime students of Barbara Marx Hubbard, and it's just so, just futurist, visionary. And she was born Jewish, and of course she wasn't a very strict family or Orthodox family. It didn't really make any sense to her, so she shopped around churches and then read some things in the Bible and read some things and then challenged the ministers. Didn't mean to, was just asking questions, but got herself, let's just say, cordially uninvited to a lot of different churches until she, realized, stepped into who she really is, the unique. I really love what you said earlier, Sebastian, about if you weren't here and if you weren't being who you are, then a piece of the universe is missing. You said something about that. And I just love that because it just celebrates everyone and everything, and I don't want to dominate here. So if anybody else wants to wave their hand or jump in with a comment or question, even you, Sebastian, you can too. But I do want to ask you if anyone right now, if not, I have a question for Sebastian.
Sure.
Okay. This is the Easter season. In fact, we had someone today who really wanted to be on this call, and she's part Native Alaskan and part white. And she wrote a beautiful book called Chrysalis, Native and White in One Breath. Just amazing. But she said she couldn't be on the call tonight because she felt she really needed to go. She loves going to Holy Thursday celebration. Of course, tomorrow will be Good Friday. And so I just wanted your reflections on what the Easter season means to you and how that's communicated to you, and so many different interpretations of what the resurrection is. And so seeing how you have a really strong connection there to Jesus, and Mary, I'm just wondering for some reflections on the Easter season, if that's okay.
Sure, and thank you very much also for bringing this. Easter season is the most important season in my life. There is no more important moment in the year for me than the Easter season. And I was given the gift of understanding more deeply the meaning of the Easter season in terms of our consciousness. In fact, there is a whole chapter in Choose Only Love that talks about that. And almost one book is talking about that. That can give us the magnitude of the importance of the holy season. Holy season is the time in which our universal consciousness was completely transformed into Christ. And this is extremely important to understand, at least for Choose Only Love and for everything that I received. Because as I said before, we are called to start expressing ourselves as the Christ that we truly are. And we are Christ because Christ has united his nature into the human nature. And that happened in the holy season, in the Easter season. So the whole universe was transformed in that moment. It was transformed into a new world, into a new universe, which is the universe that was united to Christ. Because the whole creation was created in order to be united to Christ. And the Easter season was the moment in time in which that design of God was manifested. So after that moment, we became to be different. We became to be a new being. We are no longer what we used to be. There was a before and after in 2000 years ago. So the whole creation became new because love makes everything new. And love is Christ. So we are no longer the human beings that we used to be. We are a new humanity that born from the Christ consciousness. And that new creation began with the Easter season. And every year in the Easter season, we reborn to the new, because the creation is not something that happens once. It's something that happens constantly. We are being constantly created into the new of love. And that is because we are one with Christ. So the Easter season, the meaning is that you are no longer who you used to be. You are now the Christ that lives in you. And you are called through this Easter season to make this yours and to realize about this truth of who you are and to start living as the Christ that you really are, and to forget about the old, because the old is in the past and you are a new being coming from the Easter season. That's why Christ came to us, came to unite and join the divine nature and the human nature. And I know it's a message that sometimes is difficult to accept, the message of being human God. But that is what we are. That is what we are. We are the human God because of the Easter season. And every Easter season is a call to grow deeply in this knowledge of the knowledge of who we truly are. In other words, the Christ that we are. And just to finalize this explanation, I would say that we are now ready to make us the truth that says, I no longer live, but is Christ who lives in me. That's the message of the Easter season.
Well, I'm certainly glad I asked that. That is just, I just feel so honored that you would take this, your most sacred time of year and share that with us. That really just chokes me up a little bit. But I do have something else I want to say about the Easter season. And I don't know if this is true or not, but when you talk about this now being the feminine, the coming of the feminine, wasn't it the women were the only ones that stood by Jesus as he went through this drama? It seemed to me that seems symbolic of the women's role from, you say everything changed during that time. And, it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and I don't know if Martha was also there, wasn't she? That was the three women.
Yes, she was. And other women as well.
Yeah, I just thought that was really, I never thought about that before, but when, tying in the divine feminine, and I feel that that's what's kind of out of balance on this planet right now, is the imbalance of we need more sacred masculine versus the
ego masculine
versus the ego masculine, and it doesn't have anything to do with sex. I know that, but
but yeah, I got your point. I think I got your point. But before answering that, I would like to mention that thank you for your comment about being here during the Easter time, because actually during the Easter season, I just spent my time in loneliness, praying, and I just dedicate my life to be alone with Jesus and Mary. However, when I received this invitation and I knew that was on this special day, Jesus said to me the same as he always said, if you have to choose between your brothers and sisters and my voice, choose your brothers and sisters. And that is the message that I receive even when I receive the writings that I receive. If I'm writing and receiving and someone comes to me at the very beginning, that was very destructive for me and very difficult. And that's why he said that to me as a rule. If someone comes to you, stop receiving my voice and go to the encounter with your brothers and sisters. They have to be first, because there is where I'm going to be with you. And that gives us very important knowledge about how important are our relationships, because relationship is all, love is all about relationship, because love is all about union. And this call from Choose Only Love and from everything that I receive is a call to go out of our loneliness and our state of separation and to move into the relationship, to go to the encounter of our brothers and sisters, because there is where happiness exists. So I just wanted to share that with you, Noel, because I think it's a very important message that allows us to know how important we are. Because if we have to choose between praying or taking care of our brothers and sisters or just being with them, extending love, we have to be with them because they are God and they are where we have to be. And if we do that, we are going to see that our brothers and sisters are coming to us to save us, to give us something that we really need, so we can express our gratitude for those moments in which we can be with them instead of being receiving the voice of Christ, based on this rule of discernment. And finally, going to your explanation, I agree with you. Those women are representing the importance of the feminine in the creation, and life comes from the feminine, the creation comes from the feminine aspect of God. And yeah, we have to return to the feminine because there's no way. I mean, that's the way of the heart and the way of love. And we are all called to integrate our feminine aspect of the soul. So we return to the integrity of who we are, because we are not just one side. We are both feminine and masculine, no matter what the gender is, this or that. But for the soul, we are all masculine and all feminines, and we lost that integrity. And we are now going back to that integrity. And the only way to go back to that integrity is to integrate the feminine aspect of the creation. And that's why you, as women, have a very important role here in this moment, because this is the time of Mary. So you have a very important role. And I bless you for that role. That's a very important role.
Thank you, Sebastian. And I think just a few messages here. Karen says, how blessed that we have you here on this Holy Thursday, Sebastian. Love makes everything new. And another person from Facebook, Kathy Mason, says, we are a new humanity. I wish I could share this. It's a beautiful message. Thank you. Well, we will be making sure that, you know, after the call is over, we do a little editing and repackaging, and we'll make that available to everyone to share.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Bob wanted to jump in here. Bob?
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Sebastian, for all of this time this evening and at this special time of year. And I had a question hanging from the very beginning of your conversation when you said, or maybe Elliott said it in introducing you, and you reinforced how important it is for this message of choosing love at this time on the line of humanity, the timeline of humanity. And I thought I had a question, but I think you answered in your last conversation with Noel, because my question was around how to carry this message into interaction with others. In this, quote, trying time in humanity, this trying time on the planet, a time of pandemic, a time of much injustice to so many of our fellow brothers and sisters. I was really heartened with your comment. I guess my question was, how do we care for those others, marginalized group, and those that are hungry and poor and desperate and seeking refuge in other parts of the world because they're forced there by climate change, or they're forced there by conflict or destruction or other natural activities that are going on. And I heard in your answer, in your conversation with Noel, that is a choice between praying and a choice of being with your brothers and sisters, to do the latter, to go there. Because in fact, to me, one can be praying in their action by being with their brothers and sisters and by helping their brothers and sisters. So not so much a question anymore because you answered it already. It's I just want to underscore what you had said. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And I would like, if you allow me, to expand
Please,
this,
please.
because even though I answered to Noel, maybe your perspective is a little bit different, and I think it's very important what you said. So what I would like to say is that not only in Choose Only Lab, but in other revelations that I received that are in process of being published, Jesus was very clear with me about what to do in this difficult moment of the history, and especially at the beginning of the pandemic, because I was receiving so many information as everyone, very difficult to understand, because everything was mixed and no one understood anything and knew what's going on at that moment. Even now, something like that is happening. And he was very clear to me that the best way to serve humanity is to be who we truly are. Because when we are who we truly are, we are being the Christ that we are. And when we are being the Christ that we truly are, the collective consciousness is changed. Because there is a collective consciousness. We are unity. There is only one mind, one heart, and one soul, and one holy self. And that collective consciousness is healed with our light. So every time that we shine with the light of Christ, even if we are alone in this bedroom, we are healing the world. So when we act from the truth of who we are, we will be connected with our inner voice, and that inner voice will tell us what to do or what not to do. And that action, if there is any action, will be in harmony with what we are. And so that is going to be the way of serving humanity based on our nature. So for some people, that service could be doing something, or helping others, or participating in some movement like social or environmental movement. And for others will be just praying, or just being the best mother or the best father that you can be in your house. Or sometimes our call is just to be in silence, to heal the world through our union with Christ. Because going back to the moment in when we talk about uniqueness, it's very important to understand that we are all different. And what I'm doing, which is living for Christ and sharing with everyone that wants to receive this message, what I'm receiving is my way of serving humanity and serving the creation. So what I would like to say to finish this question is, we are all created to serve, because that's the main reason of the creation, to serve love. We have to be for service to love. But the way of serving is going to be different from one to another one. So our Immaculate Mother Mary said several times to me that I'm not called to do great things, but to do things with great love. And that is perfect for me because my nature and my way of being is not for someone who can be running a country or running an international organization for changing, the world as a leader of nations or something like that. That's not my nature, and I'm not called to do that. And she said to me that I have to raise my head and watch the sky and to see there that there are different kind of birds. All of them are beautiful, but I am not called to be an eagle. I am called to be a honeybird. And she also used the expression of firefly. I want you to be my firefly, not the sun shining in their glory, just a tiny and little firefly, because they are needed as well. So the point is that we are called to serve our humanity, but the way of service should be in harmony with what we are, because the discernment of our mission is the joy, the inner peace, and the love that we feel in our heart. So she said to me, do for me what makes your heart sing, because that's your mission. And there is where your function is, because I want you to be singing a new song, the song of gratitude. And to do that, you have to live in the joy of the divine love.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sebastian.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. I see our time is together is almost complete, but I don't want it to be complete without letting people know how they can find out more about your passion, your mission, your books. So can you share that with us? And
Sure. There is a website. I mean, we have a website because we created a foundation. The website is www.fundacionamorvivo.org. But also you can use our website in English, which is www.choosonlylab.org. And in that website, you have the link to our Facebook, to our YouTube channel, and to our Spanish website. And in that English website, you can also contact us because everything converges into the same website. So if you prefer to use an English website, you can go to www.choosonlylab.org and you will find me.
wonderful. And then your books, are they just available through your website or are they on Amazon or how?
They are available on the websites and also on Amazon and in different other digital stores.
Okay. Of course, we prefer you buy them through your website. So that I think that helps the author more versus going through.
No, it's the same. I think most of the sales come from Amazon. That's very convenient.
Oh, okay, very good.
And it's the same for us.
Okay. Well, I think we want to close tonight. I would like to just read to you something that Sheila has put in the post, and I think it's a great way to sum things up, but for some reason mine.
I got it for you.
Here you go.
You got it?
Okay, from Sheila Blake, our beloved Sheila Blake. She says, thank you for bringing your message to us. I sense and admire your humble sincerity, receiving your words as truth. So I think that just says it so beautifully. Sebastian, we're so grateful for this time that you took to to serve and honor us. And we certainly love the work that you're doing, and we'll do our best to spread the word.
Take this opportunity to thank you and your team, your group, for making me feel so happy in this moment.
Join us next week, April 8th, 2021, when our Co-Creators Convergence Thursday evening conversation will be Weaving Ancient Wisdom, Hoops in Harmony. Hope to see you there.